Good morning everyone, NIO just held its NIO Power Day 2023 and that was a 1 hour and 30 minutes event, and I'll spare you the time and give you like the short run of what was announced. Just to be frank upfront of it, this was not a presentation centered at investors. It was, I think, to local, more traditional media. Actually, the president here that you see, Jin Lihong, he very straight from the very beginning said like, look guys, we got nothing new to announce here, maybe some special things here and there, but that's it. So if your expectations were that NIO was going to announce something exciting, something new, something big, unfortunately that was not the event. However, there have been some things in this presentation that I will now walk you through. Okay, let's start. The presentation started with showing off the NIO Power network, so the swap stations, for example, going from the very east to the very west. As you can see in the background, or here in the background, the presentation was all in Chinese. I initially planned on live streaming the event, but I'm glad I didn't do it in the end, because that would have been a hard thing to watch without subtitles, and you know, I'm not a fluent translator here to give you the live stream translated. But anyways, like here are the the different developments on the way how they built the super charging stations. 60 routes opened all over China. I think if you're watching the company closely, then you know already about like the extensive network that NIO is building, something which makes them very distinct from, let's say, Li Auto, who's not building its infrastructure in the way that NIO is doing it. NIO is even caring about some scenic routes here. What else? For Europe, they spoke briefly that they have now I think 19 swap stations, and also the third generation swap station is coming to Europe. So that was on the Europe news. What else? Home chargers. They talked about how many home chargers have been installed. So I mean, there's also a little bit the myth that China doesn't have any home chargers at all. That's not the case, and also NIO is installing the home chargers. So NIO has this comprehensive approach of both home chargers, superchargers, as well as swap stations. Can't say that they are just relying on battery swapping, right? They also introduced a new product, so maybe that was a little bit of an announcement there. This 20 kilowatt home charger, which is actually a a bidirectional charger, so meaning this is now extending in this business model where NIO users, even at home, can actually also feed back into the grid. I'm not entirely sure if there were lots of specifics on how this works on a monetization model. Once again, this was not for investors. It wasn't very deep. It was very, very superficial in terms of what has been presented here. But I guess it's up to us to interpret of what's the potential here. So clearly, this is what makes NIO distinct from some of the other companies there, that with the separation between the vehicle body and the battery, it does make sense for NIO users to actually participate in feeding and balancing the grid. Because if you're, let's say, a Tesla user, a Xiaopeng user, you don't necessarily want to do that, because that's basically draining your battery life, right? All right, what else? Power chargers 3.0, they talked about how they've installed, I think, 500 of these in the first 100 days, showing their commitment to also build the fastest charging rate available here in China. They talk about the potential, what are the technical capabilities of it, showing that NIO is also at the forefront of engineering the latest supercharging technology. What else? NIO is the vehicle brand with the most chargers in China. Who would have known, as a battery swap company, what they're famous for, right? So impressive what this small company is doing on its own. And, that's what I'm saying here. I'm kind of waiting for a big announcement there. It wasn't today, but to me, it feels like there needs to be a partnership announced. NIO is doing way too much as a small startup here, in my point of view, on their own terms. So this is kind of, difficult, I would say, in the long run to, keep going at this pace. Then they mentioned how others are using the NIO infrastructure as well. Notably, NIO users make 20% of the whole charging infrastructure being used, and BYD, so that's BYD 19%, and Tesla 13%. So, NIO chargers are being mostly used by other brands. And of course, as we see with Tesla partnering up with some of the North American manufacturers, there is, of course, inherent business potential with that as well. But other than that, we don't get any statistics like, how much this is contributing to some of the service fees or other revenues that NIO is doing. Then some more numbers here. The total number of battery swap stations, I think we know that already, 25 million cumulative swaps, proving that this technology is not in its early stages anymore and is proven. 1.6 seconds per swap completed. Here a chart about that the preference has shifted to battery swapping versus electricity charged for the NIO users. Of course, we'll have to monitor how this will possibly change over time, given that NIO has now started to charge for the new users who are making use of the new rebate here. So that's something to watch. 73% coverage of users living in the power swap district. So this is talking about the density. I think, this one is a very nice infographic. So you'll see here, let me move my image here quickly. So Shenzhen, Shanghai, how densely they have been actually building out this infrastructure, and also shows, of course, some empty spots where there are no superchargers yet. But I think later on, more routes. Later on, somewhere they spoke about how they make use of Athena smart site selection. To be honest, this is something they talked about already 2 to 3 years ago. So if you're following the company closely, you already know about everything that they talked about today in terms of what NIO Power is doing, the backend system, how this is actually exciting, what NIO is building there in terms of NIO Cloud, Athena, this whole battery health monitoring, all of that. I think it's called NIO Shield. All of that has been reiterated today. I think maybe, they are possibly targeting the media today. By the way, this is Shinfei, who's leading NIO Power, and this is the guy who I just talked about in my other video, who went on a podcast in which he revealed really interesting stuff, right? So if you're from an investment perspective, go watch my other video if you haven't seen that yet. But this is the master brain behind NIO Power. This one is, again, very superficial, showing the high vision and strategy here, but not a lot of fundamental new stuff, right? Maybe jumping back here. Here's a nice animation about really how this battery swapping has evolved over time. So let's jump in. What else? I think then they started doing a couple of new things here. Well, recommendations based on location, time, and recharging options during driving for more convenience. 3D navigation, also more convenient. So that's all good. Dispatch system, people car station. I don't really know what this was all about. Again, Here, introducing the theme about how EVs are contributing to the new power system. What you need to know here is that Shinfei, his background is actually from this vehicle to grid and power system industry. So this is really exciting, I think, for the future. What NIO can contribute there and what will be NIO's role in an energy system, certainly as laid out. They have really all of this technology and the fundamentals in order to have a quite big moat there, in my opinion, and could create various kinds of business models around this. So this is the exciting stuff in my point of view. What else? Yeah, that wasn't super insightful. The vehicle brand connecting power plant. Yeah, I mean, of course, that's something which is unique to NIO. Then they talked about, solar, also covering the roof of power charging stations. I'm not sure if we did get data or like how many of the stations are equipped like this. But certainly, again, this was already quite known to investors, I guess. The home charger I already mentioned. What else? Participate in V2 grid for blue skies. Yep. Sorry, just rushing through here. Oh yeah, and then they kind of concluded with, you know, the 9 benefits that power swapping is having. So as fast as refueling, they're benchmarking it not only on the process of swapping, which is like 3 minutes, right, but also the approach and so on. And with the density of NIO covering with the battery swap stations and so on, and the process itself, they are saying that they are already as fast as refueling gasoline. So that's quite the achievement there. Then going anywhere without range anxiety. So that's the real USP of swapping. What else? Hassle-free swap without leaving the car. So they also talk about that, you know, in the future they will make it possible that you can that the car doesn't turn off during swapping, which currently is the case. I would actually really like even one feature where you can actually leave the car, you know, with all of the autonomous features that you can approach the swap station, get out, grab a coffee, go to the toilet. Meanwhile, your car autonomously gets in and out and swaps. So to me, that would be a bigger benefit than actually staying in the car. But yeah, of course, the argument here is that if it's too hot outside or too cold outside, you don't want to leave your car. And that's certainly a much better user experience than supercharging, right? Then what's this flexible upgrade? No, flexible upgrade for commuter and getaways. Yeah, what I mean here is that obviously you can choose the battery pack based on, you know, if you want to do a long trip or a short trip. I think they also had some, yeah, these insights here that after they launched a scheme to make it more easy to change between the battery swaps, between the battery sizes, then the user standard range of the battery has shifted to this new metric here. What else? 80,000 battery upgrades, lower purchase tax with battery subscription. Yeah, this is one of the benefits, of course. We all know about that. With the separation of battery to vehicle, of course, you can subscribe to the battery and you have a lower purchase tax because it will only take the amount for the vehicle and not adding the battery on top of that. So that's some saving. Pretty good for users. What else? Every battery swap is a health check. This is what my video yesterday was about. There might be regulation coming up, which actually may make it mandatory for EV companies or the user, you know, whoever pays the bill, to keep the battery healthy and in check with an annual check. So that's what NIO is solving here for the user as a service. That's great. Ideal charging current for longer battery life. Yep, In the swap station, batteries can just slow charge, which is great. Easier to recycle and reuse swappable batteries. I love that NIO is pushing this narrative because that's making them unique as well. Yeah, seems like those have been the nine points here. Maybe I missed one here by skimming through. But I mean, generally, just to give you a sense, like this is the sort of the level of what this presentation was. Really focused maybe to some of the journalists out there who are new to NIO, who are not very familiar of the benefits of battery swapping and so on. So yeah, the continuous improvements, faster automatic parking available in Q3. I think that's cool, showing the advancements in the area of autonomous parking. Second generation swap stations are becoming even faster. That's cool to see that those older stations can actually still improve, and NIO it's making it possible. So, I mean, after you buy the vehicle, it's even getting better and better. That's cool. Power keep in swap. Sorry, I'm not sure again what this was all about. Flexible upgrade by the day. Yeah, so sort of that's it. That was 1.5 hours of presentation in a nutshell. Quite informative in my point of view, but yeah, if you like really looking for something extremely new or an announcement, then that was not the presentation for it. Still, a solid presentation here. Certainly not on the level as, let's say, a Tesla battery day or something like this, but it's just a different format, right? So yeah, I hope that gives you saves you some time in order to get the insights for this NIO Power Day. And then let's see, maybe they have a separate event for something else to announce. Just again, my sense is that this will not be, yeah, I just have the sense that there is something coming. Let's put it like this. Thanks for watching. Please like and share if you enjoyed that I summarized this content here, and then see you in the next video.